I ain't get no sleep last night.
Here's the reason why everyone is struggling to get their first cybersecurity job these days.
So I think I'm getting laid off today.
I asked them, I was like, hey, can you tell me the difference between HTTP and HTTPS and, the pros and cons for using it? Couldn't even tell me what it was.
What's up, Cyberhawks? So in today's video, we're going to be going over the tech layoffs. And on this video, we're going to be going over people experiences being laid off in tech, some of the struggles that people are kind of going through right now in ways that you can hopefully get a job in tech, like some different tools and whatnot. I'll also be sharing kind of the different stuff that I've also done so that I was able to get into cybersecurity, and hopefully some of my tips and some of these that you hear can help you guys out, because I know it can be a journey. It was a long time for me. It was a grind, and I know it's probably a grind for a lot of you guys, especially if you're transitioning from a different field. I can just imagine. But let's go ahead and start out with this first video, and we'll take it from there.
Really needs to be discussed. Okay, I have my bachelor's.
I really hate being the barrier of this bad news, but you need to hear it. AI has replaced your job. We saw in these last 2 years these massive tech layoffs. They didn't get rid of these positions, they just automated them. If you want to survive this time, you have to upskill yourself. You have to learn cloud engineering, machine AI learning, cloud engineering, project management, Scrum. You have to learn a trade that the AI needs to exist. The job market doesn't have you competing with other people anymore. You are competing with artificial intelligence. So you have to go about it a different way now, guys. In today's job market, I would not waste my time applying for jobs that you keep being rejected for. I would pick up a new skill that I like to call bot proof. You have to find a job that's competitive in this market against artificial intelligence. That's the key. I really hope that you take this advice. I hope you don't feel discouraged by this message. I hope it empowers you to go and upskill yourself.
Okay. There was a lot of different stuff that you talked about, and I do agree with some of it, and some of it I don't necessarily. And I haven't seen these videos yet, so I didn't know she was going to be talking about AI, but I get that it's something that you guys should be aware of. AI is becoming more prominent in jobs. It just seems like the big wave of it kind of going on social media. Now more people are aware of it, I guess. You see a lot more companies, I guess, focusing now on AI that they probably weren't in the past. So yeah, that part is true. And I'm going to go through this while I'm talking. But she talks about first, or one of the big things we're talking about was finding a job that is like, don't apply to jobs that you got rejected on and just focus on the AI proof jobs. I don't necessarily agree with that, because again, you're competing with a lot of other people still, like thousands of other people still. Like if you're in cybersecurity, for example, the amount of different jobs I had to apply to, which crazy, but also the amount of people applying to those jobs. Those times I wasn't the first 100. I may have been like the 600, 700, person in that job. So that was part of the reason I got rejected, because they already were looking at the first 100, for example. So just because you got rejected from a job does not mean that you should not apply for it still. I say you still apply for it, especially if you're studying and grinding towards it. Also, too, like she talks about going towards, I guess, fields that the AI needs. And I think that is important as well. I don't think you had to necessarily be the only goal, but I think that's nothing wrong with that at all. Or if you learn like machine learning and other stuff like that, if you're trying to be more on the technical side, that's something. You can go for other sides that aren't that technical as well, like tech sales. So like there's other things in tech that like isn't just solely technical that you can still do, that people still need, a human touch on. And, like you're going to need that human going to these other companies, talking with people to sell this product. You're not going to send a machine over to do that. Now, I'm not saying like 50, 60 years from now, we won't have machines possibly doing that too. But right now, I think you could, like, there's still plenty of different things you can do within tech that isn't tech or isn't, very super techy, that you need to know everything technical wise. Now, cloud engineering, like stuff like that, I think is great. Like if you've seen some of my videos on here, you probably know about me going like learning Azure, getting the Microsoft internship, and that was with the cloud. So yeah, cloud stuff, cloud platforms. I think that is good regardless, because it's something new, something fresh, and something that a lot of companies are transitioning to, from having their stuff on-prem to going to the cloud, having all their data there. So learning like cloud and new innovations like that is also good. And again, even with Azure, there's still AI components within Azure. So it's not like you're completely against the AI. It's like you kind of working with the AI in a lot of different things. Project management. Yeah. Project management. I think that could be good. And yeah, she talks about, AI need to exist. And this part is not 100% true still. The job market that you're not competing with other people anymore. No, you're still competing with other people. Like you are still competing with other people and not like just a few people in tech and, all these jobs. There's a lot of jobs, but also a lot of people. And you got us, like I'm from the United States. So here you got other Americans that you're fighting against to get a job, but also you got other people overseas who are coming over, I think with H-1B visas. And you also have other people too, if it's like remote, like you're hiring other people from other countries as well. So it's not just us and just AI. It's like, no, we're still competing with a lot of other people. I think a lot of people who are actually in the current job market are actually seeing this, replying to jobs and, looking at other videos too, probably people having issues with getting a job. But yeah, that was all the big stuff from that one. Some parts I agree with, some parts I didn't. I feel like she was kind of focusing just only AI, like that's the only thing. But no, it's still humans you are still competing against. So if you're able to apply to a job earlier, like when they first released the job, like on LinkedIn, I've seen jobs where they like close it really quick. How do they get the first 100 people of 200 people? So if you're able to be online around that 7-8 o'clock when HR wakes up and they're put the job out, you will have a higher chance, because I've got notifications from LinkedIn where I go to my email, look at it, and the job is already closed, but it's because it's already too late by the time I got the job notification. So yeah, being one of the first people to apply to a job can definitely help you out, especially on LinkedIn for sure. But yeah, you're still competing against humans right now. It's not just completely AI right now at this point in tech. So let's go ahead and start this next video out.
Degenerate, but I just wanted to talk about, still in my pajamas like a fucking degenerate, but I just wanted to talk about the 2024 job search. So quite frankly, I am embarrassed talking about this. My ego is through the floor. Absolutely. I really thought like I want to have a career in data science or computer science. Like I truly thought that, but as much as I want it right now, it just does not want me. For some context, I do have a 4-year degree and I do have about 2 years of experience working in data analytics as well as software development. And it has absolutely been hell. And I don't know many people who are in my field or anyone who's going through this or people who share a similar background to me. But navigating this whole thing has been so damaging to my mental health, to my ego. I just feel as if like, all right, although I literally do possess the skill set, I am constantly interviewing. I'm trying my best here. I even have to like drive 50 minutes out for an interview. That this is getting ridiculous because when I just graduated, I got the job a day after I graduated. So this has been incredibly upsetting. And I just want to know if anybody else has been going through it too, because I don't know. And then I see on my feed, like, tech is dead, software engineering is dead, the field's oversaturated, just put the fries in the bag, bro, all this other stuff. And oh my God, I do not have the answer if coding is still worth it in 2024. Right now, I'm thinking about just going back to school, redoing everything, and working an entirely different field, because this cycle of layoff, upskill, take all these coding assessments just to hear no, I can't do it anymore. Like I'm 23 and I have burnout. I'm so burnt out from it.
Okay, that was a lot. And I was not expecting her to say that she was 23 and already burnt out. Yeah, it's about to get even crazier. I'm pretty sure throughout the years, man, that is like, I thought for sure she was maybe like her 30s. She said she's 23 and already burnt out. And that's how crazy the market is. Now, a lot of that I do agree with her on this video. Like, first off, you're not the only person dealing with this, obviously. I made videos on this channel and other channels. And a lot of people agree that the job market's crazy. All fields, not just tech, but we got a lot of other fields that are also dealing with this heavy as well. And yeah. I don't really see it necessarily just magically getting better for everybody in every field. At least not like super soon, unfortunately. So the big thing I heard from this was that when she graduated, she said she was able to get the job like the next day. And yeah, like the 2024 job market, 2023 job market, 2023 to 2024 job market is a lot different than it was literally like 3, 4, or 5 years ago. So yeah, like for example, I remember when COVID was happening, and that's kind of when tech blew up a lot on social media. Everybody's like, "Oh, so easy to get tech. You can just apply and you can get in super easy and make all this money." That was a different time, with the whole everybody going remote, and no one knew what was going on with the whole, vaccines and all that crap. And all the companies again were hiring people for remote. And yeah, they shut that down. That is not the case anymore. I think Amazon, I want to say they literally like maybe 2 weeks ago, from the time I'm actually doing this video right here, I want to say they made an announcement that I think everybody had to be in office or you were going to get fired or something like that. So yeah, it's completely different. Now, my first job after graduation it wasn't like 2 or 3 years ago. It was like a while ago, like maybe 7-ish, 8-ish, maybe. But anyway, it wasn't like within the last 4 years. And it took me a minute to actually get that job. I actually got it. I had heard about it actually from my sister, the job I ended up getting. But I wasn't really applying to jobs like I was now. Like, man, maybe one here and there. It's so crazy how easy it was back then, like barely applying to jobs and still being able to get one. Whereas now, literally, I made a video of me talking about going over 1,000 plus jobs or applying to 1,000 plus to get a job. So it was like it's a night and day. And I've seen that personally. And I've seen that with other people too who are been applying for months on months on months and still isn't able to get a job. Some of these people have experience and still aren't able to get a job super quick. I watched some other YouTube videos. I think it was a girl called Sandra, something like that. And I think she talked about this. I want to say her boyfriend. Actually, you know what? Let me just bring it up on YouTube so you guys can see who I'm talking about. But I want to say she said her boyfriend had issues with finding a job, and he has been in tech for a while. Yeah, here it goes. So yeah, her with Sandra. Okay, cool. 111K. She's a good, cool YouTuber. I like watching her videos as well. But yeah, she talked about it. I want to say she said her boyfriend had issues and he's been like software engineering or something along those lines for a while. And it took him some months. Like he didn't get a second job instantly. I think it took him some months and he had years of experience. So, I mean, you can have years of experience and still be struggling right now. So, it is what it is right now. Hopefully you guys been watching some other previous videos on the channel on ways that you can improve, upscale, and work on, your resume and, just different fields that you can get into within tech and like just different tools on how you write your resume and getting internships and all that. I've talked about this a lot on my channel, so definitely check out some of those videos. So next up, let's go ahead and go over this one.
Idea to wait out the 2024 tech layoffs. Obviously, we all know it's not the best time to be entering tech. This is not a cybersecurity problem. This is a problem with pretty much the entire tech field. Now, when will that change, right? When will things go back to the way they were? Should we maybe wait? Should you consider waiting depending on where you're at? Well, here's the thing. Just like they say in finance where you can't time the market, I think the same thing applies here. We cannot time the job market either. Will things ever come back? I don't know. But the reality is this. People are still landing jobs and there is still a massive shortage of qualified people in cybersecurity. Now, what does qualified mean, right? Qualified means that you have job experience, right? That you are someone that not only has the skill set, but you have a solid resume, you have actual work experience. I've noticed that companies are highly prioritizing work experience over certifications and things like that. That is why in my program, I pivoted to offering actual work experience by giving you guys freelance contracts. So if you're
Okay, yeah, this is another one I agree with heavy. I talked about a lot of good points. So let's go ahead and kind of just go through this. So first, I like timing the market. Yeah, you really can't time it. I mean, if you're applying for jobs right now, just don't give up. I think it's still good to still be applying to jobs. Now, you may want to change your approach to how you're applying to jobs. That may be something that you may want to actually do, but just you completely giving up, I don't agree with that. Let me see what else he was talking about on this part. Oh yeah. So also with the timing, I've seen this a lot too with people who said like they just started like their computer science degree, for example, and now they hearing about the job market. So now they want to switch. It's like, no, I think having a computer science degree or high tech degree can still be good. It's like if you're able to afford it or if your parents are able to afford it, of course. Yeah, in that case, if you're already in school for like computer science and you're seeing how crazy it is right now, that's not to say it's going to be exactly the same in 4 years or 3 years from now. So like if you're a freshman and watching this video, I still recommend you still getting that degree still. Again, prevalent only you know, you can afford it, or your parents can afford it or whatnot. Yeah, I definitely agree that you should still stay in that. Because I mean, you can't time it. For all we know, 3-4 years, you know, the tech industry could be booming even more, you know, or maybe another crisis may happen, unfortunately, and you know, the tech market may rise again. Everything might become remote for a while again. Like, you really can't time it. So I think something like getting a degree like that is still good. Getting something like within engineering is still good. I don't think that's necessarily bad right now. Now, if you're a senior, it may seem like it is sucking right now. But again, we don't know exactly how the job market is going to be like in May of 2025. You know, when you may start applying to jobs, or June, July of 2025. So you still got time. You definitely still got time. He also talked about how, even though it seems like it's super hard right now, there is I guess, and not a saturation necessarily in the job, in the amount of jobs for like cybersecurity, for example, but they're looking for qualified people. And I like how he actually told what type of qualifications they're looking for. And that's kind of what I've been talking about as well from me applying to a lot of jobs. They're looking for people with experience. They're looking for people with experience. So if you have experience, you have a higher shot than somebody who doesn't have experience. Not saying it's going to be super easy, you know, I guess depending on how much years of experience, but it's going to be easier. And yeah, they are looking for people with experience. So how can you get experience if you're not able to get in the job? And I guess that's where internships come into play. I talked about this a lot with my internship with Josh Madacor. They helped out a lot. I did an interview with him as well, kind of talking about this, but having that experience for months of me helping out people in Azure, you know, with the cloud and whatnot, that helped out. And my interviews, man, to talk to people and looking good on my resume that, hey, I got experience here. My Microsoft internship, that helped out as well. And that one, I believe a lot of you can also get into. So I will look into internships for sure. Look into Josh Madacor on YouTube, and I'll show you guys his channel here. So if you guys are interested, he has a cool course going over cybersecurity. And then within that course, if you do everything, you can also try to sign in for his internship, and you can help out a lot of other people with their cloud projects and creating a SIM, getting attacked around the world, and then defending your project and all that. Like, yeah, definitely check out Josh Madacor for sure on that. And if you guys want to see my interview with him, I think we did actually a lot of views. I think I was probably one of the top people in a while on views for his internships. And that's me right there. Yeah. So definitely check out that one too. If you guys want to see me, I guess, talking some more on other channels. You might see me on other channels sometime here and there. But yeah, that's my interview with him. Great interview. But yeah, that one's good. Another one again at Microsoft. Microsoft had internships for free. You just gotta like look on LinkedIn. That's where I found mine. And when they have like an opening, I just applied. So yeah, LinkedIn is good. What I'll probably end up doing too, I'll probably start putting on my community board when I see internships, and I'll probably start posting those for you guys. So hopefully that can help you guys get into cybersecurity. But let's go ahead and play the next one.
If you work in the tech industry, you'll know that in 2023, there were a lot of layoffs. Apparently, there's actually way more coming in 2024, and it's the fault of the US government. This is because the US government introduced a tax law back in 2022 called Section 174. And I think this article sums it up pretty well. Basically, Section 174 says that all costs related to R&D within a tech company, including labor for software development. So this includes software engineers, product designers, product managers, anybody that works on the product. These costs actually can't be claimed as R&D on tax anymore. And instead, they're going to be amortized over 5 years. That means for a tech company, for example, in 2021, that made $1 million, but then also spent $1 million on software engineers, product managers, and whatnot. In 2021, they actually recorded $0 in profit, which is correct because they made $1 million and then spent $1 million, and therefore they have to pay nothing in tax. However, starting in 2022, because of Section 174, that same $1 million made and spent actually doesn't equal $0 in profit, it equals $900,000 in profit. But the thing is, this company didn't make any money. It's the way this tax code is structured that makes it look like they made money on paper. And therefore, they have to pay taxes on this $900,000. They have to pay this $189,000 that they do not have. And when you think about it, all the tech layoffs start to make sense because all these companies hired a bunch of engineers, a bunch of people that they could write off as R&D tax credit. But the second this tax system changed, they had to fire everybody because they couldn't afford to keep those people. And the thing is, I get that this tax was introduced to, make companies like Amazon and Meta pay their taxes. But guess what? what ends up happening is that these companies, big and small, have to pay this sudden tax bill and can't claim R&D tax credit anymore. You're the one getting laid off because they can't afford to keep the software engineers, the product managers, the designers on their tech team anymore. It's become too expensive.
Interesting. So this is a completely different reason on why we're not getting jobs in tech. I haven't actually heard this reasoning. Taxes being the reason, of course, freaking taxes always being there. But it's something I actually might have to look into some more. If you guys are more familiar with this, I guess tax law, I'm intrigued. But it looks like you said R&D, the research and development, they were able to, have that getting written off. Now they're not able to. So now with all this extra money that they'll have to pay now, they're like, you know what, shoot, we don't have this. So let's just, job people and actually increase the money that we have, for these taxes. Interesting. I have not seen this being one of the reasons. Now, I don't think this is like the only reason all these companies are doing this, but this could be possibly a reason that a lot of companies are doing it, or maybe one of the many reasons some of these companies or some of these big tech companies are laying people off now. I'm definitely intrigued on this one. I'm gonna definitely have to do some more research on this. Maybe do like a part 2 on the tax side of things on why people are getting laid off. But if you're more familiar with this, let me know, or let everybody else know in the comments. I know we'll definitely have some people intrigued for sure on this.
Here's how to get into tech in 2024 in a tech sector that does not have mass layoffs. Most people, they think that you have to have tech experience to get into tech, or they think you need to have a degree, and that is not the case. You want to focus on getting tech skills and tech certifications. So the first tech certification you should get is the CompTIA Security Plus. If you have no tech knowledge, make sure you focus on learning computer software, computer hardware, and a little bit of networking. Then the next thing you want to do is redo your resume and make sure you highlight your transferable skills that will help you in your first GovTech role. Then you want to go and apply for entry-level GovTech positions that are sponsoring U.S. government security clearances. And this is what makes this the most layoff-proof career, because you have to be a U.S. citizen. So find these roles on clearancejobs.com or usajobs.gov, or directly on government contractor websites. And if you want me to show you step-by-step on how to do all this, come to my free workshop. I'll show you how to land a layoff-proof.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this is from Simone B's. I've talked about her throughout a lot of different videos, watch her content a lot. I think she has great knowledge, especially with the GovTech side of things. I think she has some, great videos. I like watching her videos a lot. Follow her on social media as well. I remember I did a video kind of going over some of her GovTech things and why I agree. And I guess some people on Twitter seen the thumbnail and I guess the title, and that I was throwing shade at Simone. They didn't even watch the video yet. But I think she said she watched some of it and she didn't see any type of shade. So, this is crazy how quick people become negative. But I got nothing but love for Simone. Great videos, great content. But yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot. I'm surprised GovTech hasn't blown up as much as it has, but I feel like it's going to really be blown up real soon. And the big reason is right here. They're looking for people in the US. This is government, and they're looking for people who are US citizens. So you're going to have less competition in this space. Also, too, from what I've been hearing about government jobs and whatnot, it seems like they're low stress, or at least when tech related jobs, it seems like they're more low risk, low stress. You're kind of working with tech that are sometimes old. It seems like a lot of times. That's what I've been hearing, and it seems like they're not constantly changing their tech that they're using, I guess, for security reasons. So you're not constantly having to learn brand new software every single month. At least that's kind of what I've been hearing. So that's another thing that can get people in there. Also, too, being able to get your government, clearance or security clearance, that's a big thing as well. If you get that, you'll just have less competition because you'll be able to apply to jobs that requires a security clearance. So you're able to get into those type of fields. So yeah, I think GovTech is going to be something big right there, and something I may have to start going over as well. Maybe applying to other GovTech roles, having experience now, and see how easy it is. Also, too, she talks about the best, or the first tech certification that you should get being the Security Plus from CompTIA. Definitely agree with that if you're trying to transition right into like cybersecurity or one type of tech role, or we're trying to get into govtech. You're going to need that for govtech, if I'm not mistaken. In some roles, I believe I have seen that requirement, and it also looks good on your resume for HR people. So I think having the security plus is good. Now, if you do have the time, if you actually do have the time, and I guess the money, like another route you could do that I did was going like getting your CompTIA A plus, in your network plus. I even got the IP plus. So, those are other possible things you can also learn. So you can just learn more about computers and networking and whatnot before you get into security plus. But if you're looking for a job right now and you don't have that time and all that, then yeah, go straight for security plus. But if you do have that time, I say at least go for networking plus so you can get that down, or maybe A plus too, so you can learn more about computers. But yeah, that's if you have the time. If you don't have the time right now, you're ready for a job right now or soon, yeah, get your security plus. I definitely recommend that. And let's go ahead and play the last video here.
Is because the reason why you're getting so many job rejections and being ghosted by companies is because you're currently sitting at tier 4. If the only method you're using is applying to jobs, then make sure you listen up and try these 3 different tiers. The next step you can go to is tier 3, and this is getting referred for a position, but the person who's referring you is not actually on the hiring team. So for example, if someone is in the accounting team and they know of a software engineering position that's open, they refer you to that position. What people are missing out on is tier 2 and tier 1, which is what's going to make the most difference. This is the hiring team recommendation and the hiring manager recommendation. Okay, so let me give you an example for tier 2. So say someone is in a cybersecurity team in a company that you're looking to apply for. They would recommend you for an open position for a cybersecurity role. Whereas the tier 1, which is hiring manager recommendation, this would be the team lead or the director giving you a direct referral to join the cybersecurity team. Okay, so let me tell you the reason why I'm sharing this. So say tier 4, there's probably 1,000 people just applying to jobs. And then at tier 3, there's probably around 50 people getting referrals. And then for tier 2, there's probably around 5 people getting recommendations from the team members. And then for tier 1, there's probably 1 or 2 people getting direct referrals from the manager. And how many positions are there for this role? There's 1. So obviously the people in tier 1 are going to get the interviews. And that's why when you're applying to thousands of jobs, you're not getting any interviews or any responses. If you want to know the exact strategy on how to get referrals from hiring managers, leave a follow because I'll be making a video on exactly how to.
Okay. So I think this is, I guess, a good one to end it on. But I mean, I see where he's coming from. I mean, like that makes sense, like the breakdown he had, 1,000 people applying to the job. I've talked about that. And then less people getting referred, and less people getting recommended by the hiring team, and less people by the hiring manager. But like, this doesn't like necessarily help out, I guess, people in a sense that like most people, like especially if you're trying to get into a new field, but it's like, if you don't have no experience, like how are you going to get the hiring manager to recommend you? Like this is great if you are experienced. You may have a higher chance maybe of having better connections within that industry. But like if you're like brand new, you're not going to be able to get the hiring manager just to randomly, recommend you. So tier 1 would be out. In the hiring team, again, if you have no connections and you're just trying to apply, that really doesn't apply to you. So you're pretty much stuck in tier 1, possibly tier 2. Again, if you don't know anybody, it's going to be very hard for you to get referred, that way. I guess another way you could get referred, and for this tier 3 would be if, I guess, you like on LinkedIn, kind of where I talked about where you you talk with the hiring people who posted the job, something like that. So I could see that. I could actually see that. But again, that kind of just keeps you on tier 4 and tier 3. You're not going to really get into tier 1, tier 2, like most people. If you're, again, applying to a whole bunch of jobs and you're brand new to the field, you don't have any type of connections. And yeah, now obviously if you have the networking and the connections, then yeah, it will be easier for you to get the job. It is what it is. Like, especially if you work for a company or have friends working for a company and they can recommend you, oh yeah, you will have a higher chance. But if you don't have that, then yeah, you're just stuck on tier 4 and tier 3. Now, sometimes you can get luck out on tier 2. The hiring team recommends you, but that's probably after you going through the process of working through the job. I've had that happen too on a job that I was applying for, and I thought I had for sure before I had my current one. And yeah, I did 3 or 4 interviews, and I was knocking them out. I thought for sure I had the job. I didn't get it. I get this current job. Then like 2 weeks later, they hit me back up and saying like, do I want the job now? After they already gave it to somebody else. And the first thing that the person said on the phone was like, yeah, I guess it didn't work out with the other person, but everybody on the team was like, yeah, hire Eric or get Eric. So I guess on that sense, the hire team recommended me, but that was after going through all the steps, and they already knew me and talked with me and all that stuff. And that, like, again, that obviously didn't help me out because that happened after I already, started my new job 2 weeks in. So it is what it is on that. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And I definitely want to hear you guys' current journeys again in tech right now. If you're applying to jobs, are you having better luck right now? Is what, October now? Or depending on the video come out, yeah, it's October, like 1st, 2nd. Yeah. Are you still struggling right now? Do you think it will be better later this year, maybe after elections? Or do you think it will be even worse later this year after elections? I'm definitely intrigued to hear you guys' thoughts, see you guys' predictions, maybe do a prediction video or like a prediction part 2 video, or maybe next year, reading everybody predictions this year and kind of going over those. Definitely we're going to hear you guys' thoughts. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.